Iba Reads event. If you have any questions during the presentation tonight, please go ahead and type them in the YouTube chat box. We will be compiling your questions and answering them all at the end of the presentation. Our speaker tonight is Asami Iba. She's the Cultural Exchange Facilitator for the Gen J program through the Japan Foundation. Ms. Iba has been facilitating presentations about traditional Japanese tea ceremonies and introducing Japanese culture to schools and other events in the Midwest for a year and a half. I'd like to welcome Asami Iba.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching this and joining us. And actually, I was living in Chicago 2 weeks before, but for the visa situation, now I came back to Japan and I stay in the hotel for 2 weeks. So actually, I'm in Japan. So now I think the Midwest in the time is 7 p.m. But now I'm 9 a.m. in a Friday morning. So actually, I'm in Tokyo, and the place is Shimbashi, is near a imperial, like castle. We have an emperor, and I really stay near a center of Tokyo, so I can show a little bit about. Maybe I can, or maybe it's I don't think. Oh, it's kind of little Tokyo, and my room is so small. So when I was in Chicago, I live in a one bedroom, but my hotel room is so small, and I have a sleeping little tiny bed. So I didn't miss. I feel like I have been very spoiled in US, because I live in the one bedroom by myself and sleep in a queen bed. But now I I sleep in a really tiny bed and stay this kind of teeny tiny room. But in Japan, of course, we kind of struggling with situation, but everybody wearing the mask. So so in compared to US, I saw a lot of people walking on the street, and for the first time I really scared because in a US I mostly drive, so I don't have to see a lot of people all the time. But wearing the mask, keep social distancing, and we can stay safe. So now, so now I'm gonna talk about the presentation. Um, okay. So I hope you can see my screen. So when I was in Chicago, as an introduction, I visit a lot of schools and mostly the cultural events and sometimes this company and local communities. So I really enjoyed made a presentation about Japanese culture. But now after this situation, it's become very difficult to visit the place and see the people in a person and talk with them. But luckily we had a Zoom, so mostly I made a presentation about origami, the paper, and we hold the paper and make something. So so it's been a while. I made a presentation about Japanese tea ceremony. So whenever I do this kind of presentation, I wear the kimono and I prepare some tea stuff. But at this time, my Wi-Fi is not strong, and also, I'm kind of limit opportunity because I'm in Japan. But today I gonna do just a presentation, but also have a link the YouTube. So um, after this presentation, you can see some YouTube video, because some YouTube video is really nice, and even you don't know about Japanese, you don't understand Japanese language, you just see the ceremony and you understand, you can review what I talk. So now I start. So this is the picture of Japan, and you can see this mountain. So this is Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan. I'm not very familiar with feet and inches, but this is 3,000 meter, about 3,000 meter. So you can see the flower in the front. This is cherry blossom. We call it sakura. So this is a national flower and very famous especially in a spring season. And also you can see like a castle. This is actually not castle. This is a temple. So in Japan, the 50% people is a Buddhist, and the other 50%, about the 50% is the Shintoism. It's more like not religion. It's more like a custom for like showing the respect for like our emperor. So, but this is like a Buddhist temple. So sometimes we call the tower, but this is like some kind of like a temple. So this is very like a typical like a picture in Japan. So this is a map, and so you can see. So this is the map when I get in a US. So US is kind of center, but Japan is here in an Asian, near the Pacific Ocean. This is like small country. So we know that this is, Japan is island. So we had to know, how to border, the country, which with another country. So Japan had a like unique culture. So for so maybe I think when like Chicago had a consul general office, and I heard like Japanese government took like a survey about what do you know about Japan. So the number one answer was sushi. So this is sushi. I think everybody know about sushi. I think in the US more familiar, like this kind of rolled sushi is more familiar. So but for in Japan, like this nigiri, just fish and rice. This is more typical one. Nigiri style. This is more typical and popular in Japan. So also nowadays, you can maybe you might have a Hulu or Netflix, and you can watch this kind of anime all the time. So this anime also from Japan, and also Toyota, a lot of car company is working in all over the world. Also, we can see some factories in the US. So Japanese car company is also very like a main industry in the US. So unfortunately, if we had known this kind of situation, we might have this Olympic in Tokyo. So Tokyo, I came back to Japan. So I didn't go back to Japan for 1 year. So like everything is really changing and developing because for the Olympic. But unfortunately, we couldn't have this year. But I hope we could have, next year, and somehow I heard maybe, we can have any kind of audience, but I hope we can have this Olympic in safer way. So this is kind of my background, and I spend a lot of my life in a foreign country. So actually, I spend a lot of years in this country. So this country is Mongolia. So when I go back to this map, so this purple one, so this this is Mongolia, so it's only 5-hour flight from Japan to Mongolia. So because I speak Mongolian, so I was working for the Japanese government in this country. And afterward, I came to US and worked for 2 years. So whenever I stay in the foreign countries, I all the time enjoy teaching Japanese stuff to the local people, because I think, now we have internet and like a lot of websites, so we can access a lot of information anytime. But like, I think a little different if you heard about the culture and experience from the native people. So I'm all the time enjoying the sharing my experience in Japan. But now I'm working for the Japan Foundation. So this is also a government agency. So we have 3 missions. So we introduce about the Japanese culture and the Japanese language education and the Japanese studies. So mostly I do like cultural exchange program, but also some school had a Japanese program. So we're gonna promote the Japanese education in all over the world. Also, we have a communicate the some professors about it, to promote Japanese studies. So this is my program. So I visit a lot of school, So this is I teach origami in the last year, like July last year. I teach origami to the people, and this is Rockford, Illinois. And also I, made a presentation of Japanese calligraphy. So this is in May last year in St. Louis, Missouri. And also this is the Japanese tea ceremony. So actually I wanted to make a presentation like this, but so when I did this kind of presentation, I made a tea and I made, brought some Japanese sweets so audience could enjoy like, authentic taste, no sugar, no milk, just like a matcha powder and hot water, and also like sweet and a Japanese sweet I bought in Mitsuwa in a Japanese supermarket. And actually, I some also like I visit some anime convention. I think I made a biggest presentation was Anime Milwaukee in Wisconsin last February. So I got a bunch of audience. I think more than 100 people enjoy the Japanese tea. They didn't know about like a Japanese tea ceremony, and I'm afraid they could accept the taste because it's kind of bitter, but everybody enjoyed. So, you know, maybe you can get some the green tea powder in some Asian market. So if you're interested in the Japanese tea, maybe you can try later. So now I'm going to talk about the Japanese tea ceremony. So Japanese tea ceremony is conducted for like before like a very daily basis, but nowadays it's more like special occasion. So when I do like a Japanese tea, I don't think a lot of like all of Japanese experience Japanese tea ceremony, because if you're not interested in it's had no access to do that. But I was really interested in the Japanese tea ceremony because I could, whenever we had a tea ceremony we could eat a sweet. So I'm very attracted, that kind of ceremony. So when I was elementary school student, I had the first tea ceremony, and I keep learning still now. So, but now, before we learn like a tea ceremony at the home, like a mom teach daughter, but like now we have to go to the special schools, because it's kind of traditional culture. So it's we have to buy the kimono. Kimono is very expensive, and we have to prepare this kind of equipment. You can see like cups and the hot like stoves. So you have to prepare this special tatami room. So it's a little pricey. So it's very difficult. Everybody have this kind of situation, but most of especially women enjoy experience this kind of opportunity. So so you can say the hospitality and meditation, it's really important word for the Japanese tea ceremonies to understand the Japanese tea ceremonies concept. So the hospitality, maybe it's easier to understand. So she's hostess or host of hostess, and she's a guest. The right person is host and hostess, and left side person is kind of guest. So the Japanese tea ceremony mainly like a host and a hostess showing their hospitality to the guest, by serving nice green tea and nice sweet. And like we also have like a longer tea ceremony. The longer tea ceremony is gonna take about like 2 or 3 hours, but the hostess or host gonna serve the traditional Japanese meal as well. So mainly, hospitality is much easier to understand. But meditation is, you know, also like a very important concept from like a Buddhism. So I think nowadays, people know about Zen meditation, or like, you know, especially at this situation, we really need to like calm down and relax and, enjoy our time. So So meditation is also very important for tea ceremony, because at this situation we use very teeny tiny small room, and actually we had no sound. Among the guests we can talk, but like not like loud. We can talk like chit chat. We have to talk the taste of tea, or like taste of sweet, and also like showing like appreciation to the host. So whenever we do the tea ceremony, the atmosphere is very very quiet. So like so we can be like calm down, and also the host is like very focused on making the tea. So they guest and the host, they do like meditate themselves. So the people really enjoy the taste of tea and taste of sweet, but also people can enjoy the atmosphere, and also like sharing the praise by tea. So like so we can calm down and meditate myself, and we can enjoy this opportunity. So we have some saying in Japanese, like one tea, one opportunity. So like I think also we had some saying, one encounter and one opportunity. So whenever we had this kind of tea ceremony, we never do only like same company. So we visit a lot of the guests, so a lot of host site. So we never met this. If you go to the school, maybe we see your teacher every week, but sometimes we visit another tea place, and you're gonna see another people, another teachers like make a tea. So the Japanese people really pay attention one opportunity. So also this presentation, I think it's also we maybe we this opportunity is if we feel like this opportunity happened only once, maybe we can pay attention and care about more. So so we have really like the care about one tea and one opportunity. We can put any word to the tea place. So like one meal, one opportunity, something like that. So now, so I really feel this opportunity is very important. Any single minute, any single the moment is very important for me. So this person is actually built up the discipline for tea ceremony. So you can see he's a guy, but the previous pictures you saw the woman. So nowadays it's more popular like a woman do the tea ceremony, but like a back, you know, when it's beginning, the samurai people, like a kind of Japanese warrior, began the culture because mostly like the at that time like a man is a main like the factor in the Japanese society. So woman is more just like helping the man. So this his name is Senorikyu. Senorikyu made this a lot of discipline. So before him, like the ceremony is more like simple, but like after this person, he made up a lot of discipline. So tea ceremony become very like processing is kind of more complicated. So this is Asian map, and you can see Japan is here, like a red circle. But actually, so I focus on this map because um, the tea ceremony is actually not the original the culture from Japan because you can see the China. China is much bigger country and more like a longer history. So actually, the tea came from China. So China also had some like the tea ceremony culture like Japan. So actually more like, Japan got a lot of the idea, calligraphy, also like letters, we use the kanji, like a complicated letter that also came from China. So we got a lot of idea from the culture from China, but we also made up, like our own uniqueness by using the Chinese cultures. So this is a kind of Chinese tea ceremony. They also served tea and sweet, but like China, when we do the tea ceremony, we use only like green tea powder. We call it matcha. But in a Chinese tea ceremony, they they have a bunch of tea like a tea flavors like jasmine tea, pu'er, oolong tea. So they also have green tea. So in a tea ceremony, they try, let the guests to try a lot of like kind of tea. So it's kind of a little different in a Japanese style. So actually, I think a lot of people think, green tea and black tea is the taste difference, the color is different, but actually, the green tea and black tea is from the same leaf. The green tea is more like fresh leaf. So, but like black tea, they got the like a fermentation. So so the color is kind of different. So and also like green tea had a more caffeine, and also green tea. If we drink a green tea, like we can make our body cool. So whenever it's really hot, the Japanese people drink like hot green tea. So but green black tea, it's makes our body more warm. So we feel like black teas, we we enjoy like the hot black tea in a winter. So this is the green tea. So this is we drink this kind of green tea at the tea ceremony. So this is green tea powder, matcha. I really enjoyed using matcha anything, not only this drinking matcha, but also, baking when I bake the cookies and bread. And sometimes I put in some, um, you know, uh, portage, but anyway, so we can use anything, we can use matcha for anything. And also you can see some like equipment. So this is mixer, to mixing the matcha. So, and also this is like a scoop for the matcha powder. These are made by bamboo. So it's very strong and, you know, you can use it for a long time period. So this is like my really like a favorite part for tea ceremony. So this is wagashi. So this is Japanese sweet. So each Japanese sweet had a theme. So this is spring because you can see that the middle of this pink bowl, you can see the shape of sakura. Sakura is our spring flower. So this theme is spring, like a spring flowers. You can see also sakura here. So this is spring. So in Japan, in the summer it's very, very hot. So we need to be cool. So we prefer to get like a cherry for the summer sweet. And you can see the watermelon and lemon. I think it's more like a fireworks. So this is summer sweet. So now we had autumn. So changing color leaves and some fruit. So this is the autumn sweet. So this is winter, because spring, summer, autumn, winter. So you can see the Christmas tree and also, some deal field. Anyway, so like you can see it anyway. So like kind of winter-ish sweet. So but actually this kind of sweets is very, very expensive. So it's cost I think more about $10 one of each. I think in Japan it's much cheaper, but whenever I get tried to this kind of sweet in US, maybe I paid a lot, like $10. So when we do like a tea ceremony, we gonna in we gonna do not like a usual space. We go to the tea room. So in a tea room, of course, like a host and hostess gonna, treat, you know, serve a lot of, things to do for the guest. But, we feel, the guests, even guests and host, and among the guests, we think we are equal, you know, you know. So when the Sennorikyu began this ceremony, we had a lot of a lot of different of a status for the people, like a warrior, like a bushi. The samurai people is have a like highest position in the society. Also, even among the samurai people, they have a lot of like differences. But in this teeny tiny tea room, we are equal, you know. So we don't need anything when we enter this teeny tiny tea room. So we have, of course, we have to take off our shoes, and also we have to take off our weapons like sword. So actually, when we had a tea ceremony like now, we cannot bring like a cell phones, and we cannot take a picture during the tea ceremony. Maybe if I visit as a tourist in Japan, maybe we had an opportunity, just try on like a tea ceremony experience. And like some people translate in English about the processing, and maybe at that time you can take a picture and enjoy the tea ceremony, but like more like that, or more like a serious, everybody wearing the kimono and do the tea ceremony. You cannot bring anything, only you can take like yourself. And anyway, you have to focus, being there and enjoy, focusing, enjoy the time, because before I said one tea, one opportunity. So we cannot get the same opportunity again. So you have to focus on the ceremony. Just you don't bring anything, only yourself. So tea rooms, like entrance is very small. So, the people cannot bring anything like a big bags. So, and take off their shoes and get into this room. So this room, actually, so this room is like a tea rooms. Um, so you can see the host, the right side, and hostess, I don't know, like a guest in the left side. So actually, you can see only one guest this room, but like the real occasion, we had a bunch of the guests. So like sometimes more than 10 people at this room. So it might be a little uncomfortable because, especially this situation, we try to, having some distance between people. But, you know, in a we are we expecting this is like a safer opportunity, like a before pandemic, like we have to cross, and it's really uncomfortable, but so but we can more like, you know I think connect is not like proper word, but it's more, you can, the host can reach their hospitality to the guest more directly. So this kind of uncomfortableness is really need for the Japanese tea ceremony. So, and also, I think anything we can explain by one tea, one opportunity. If you feel like uncomfortable, but only once, maybe later, maybe we feel like, oh, that's also kind of good experience. We kind of get close, and you can, you know more talk. You don't have to talk louder because the atmosphere is kind of really quiet, so we can get closer and talk quietly, but we can understand each other because we close. So this is kind of unique situation for like a Japanese tea ceremony. So this is Japan House in Urbana-Champaign, Illinois, inside the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. So I joined the tea ceremony a couple of times. So it's, so if you see it like a very typical way, it's our legs is really hurt and painful the next day. So even me, it's very difficult. But now, like this is so Japanese tea ceremony also become very international. So, and also actually the discipline is never changed. So if you sit in like a chair on a floor, we can do the same things, by the proper way. So I think it's really nice. Now we can have a tea ceremony, like the standing, sitting on a chair style, because it's very difficult to find the tatami room in the US. So whenever I made a presentation here, I do this kind of standing or sitting on the chair style. But actually the process and procedure is the same, so we can enjoy the same tea ceremony. So we use this kind of equipment. So this is hot, this is pot. So we made a hot water here, and so this small one had a Japanese, green tea matcha powder. So we pick up this matcha powder from here and put these cups and put the water and mix it. And also we had a lot of discipline, but like, and make a green tea and just pass out, pass along the people, and people enjoy the tea and a sweet. We never put anything like a milk and sugar inside. So before we drink green tea, we have to eat sweet before like a sweet. So we make our mouth sweeter and drink green tea. It's kind of, mixture and good combination. So we don't feel the green tea is really bitter because you already had like a sweetness. So it's more like a make sense. So also, this cup each cup had a design. So but mostly design have only one side. So the host and hostess gonna showing the design of the cup all the time to the guest side, showing respect to the guest. So the guest also, when the guest got the cups, they um so moving along, move to design to the host side and drinking the tea and back. So showing design is respect. Design is also showing the respectness to each other. Yeah, actually a lot of discipline, so it's very difficult to explain everything like now. But so hospitality, we showing hospitality and also respectness, and also showing like also it's kind of hospitality, but we caring each other. So tea ceremony is not only like just enjoy the tea and sweetness, but also showing appreciation each other. It's really good opportunity to do this. So actually I really want to watch a YouTube with everybody, but my Wi-Fi is not strong enough, so it might be difficult. So this is YouTube URL. So maybe you can just Google it like Japanese tea ceremony, and you can watch, English subtitle, or just no voice like explanation, but you can just enjoy the watching how the ceremony goes, and then maybe you can review kind of what I talked at this presentation. So now I gonna finish my short presentation, and I hope it's help understand a little bit about Japan, and like a Japanese tea ceremony as part of the Japanese culture. So thank you.
Hi, Asami. We
Hi.
did have a couple questions come in, if you wouldn't mind answering a few.
Yes.
Want me to? Okay, so I'll read them to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question, the person was asking, is there a certain time of the day or of the year that tea ceremonies take place, or does the host just decide to invite people to one as a special occasion?
It's really depend the host. So, as I talked, we had a, seasonal, the sweet. So we can have a tea ceremony anytime they want. So mostly like schools and like teachers decide the occasion to have the tea ceremony. But but like for when you had a chance to visit Japan as a tourist, you know, so some place have a that's kind of special tea ceremony like every day. So you can enjoy that kind of tea ceremony anytime you want.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, we have a question about if there are different types of matcha tea and does it all taste the same or does it change depending on who makes it?
Oh, actually, like a tea powder is the same, but like we also have a different type of like a green tea leaves. So maybe the taste a little different depend on the tea leaves, but mostly the same. But also we had a grade the tea leaves, like our first grade of course like it tastes much better, but um I think like a first grade is I feel like it's more very strong, like a grassy taste. So maybe some people like a second or third grade more because the taste kind of not strong. I like a strong and bitter taste in matcha. So I did want to try like a first grade, but when I tried some presentation, some people, the first grade is like a too much for me, and I used like a second one as well.
I know that there are some matcha that you can buy in the United States. Do you have a recommendation for someone if they wanted to try one that was most like the matcha they might have in Japan?
Um, I think the matcha in Kyoto is very famous,
Mhm.
and I think you can get the matcha in any like Asian market,
Okay.
near your neighborhood. I was living in Schaumburg, Illinois,
Mhm.
so it's really close to Mitsuwa supermarket, so I can get anytime I want. But I think even like a local, your local community had a no like a Japanese supermarket and mostly the Asian supermarket and also Trader Joe's have a matcha, but it's not like like a matcha latte. So, but even that you can taste. Maybe first, if you try the matcha, maybe you kind of it's really bitter and a strong taste. So maybe you should try like a matcha latte first, and you like it, maybe you can try like a without milk and sugar. So
Okay, so someone else made a comment. They said it looks like a beautiful, serene practice. And they're wondering if there's any additional protocol leading up to the tea ceremony, such as hand washing or anything like that. And they understand that shoes need to come off, but they're wondering if there's anything else.
yeah, actually, we had a lot of discipline and protocols, and maybe you can see tatami room had a lot of kind of lines. So we cannot cross the line by left legs or like we can cross the line only like a right legs. But also we had a lot of schools for tea ceremony like urasenke and omotesenke. So really depend on the school. The rule is really different. So I was like urasenke. So urasenke, and yeah, I experienced both of urasenke and omotesenke. So they are totally different. So it really depend on the school, the so discipline and protocol is totally different. So we cannot say that, whenever you do the tea ceremony, you cannot cross the line by left legs. But because the another school, you should do that for the right legs. So, even like small things, we had a lot of discipline. So it's very difficult to become like a tea master, like a host and teacher. at least it's gonna take like 5 years, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone else is wondering, do typical homes have tea rooms with separate entrances?
Oh, so answer is no, because it's kind of difficult to have a stove inside the tatami room. But even we had a no like a stove, we can I think mostly every house had a tatami room, so you can have a tea ceremony more like a relax and not like a strict way. So sometimes I had a like a, not like tea ceremony, but like sometimes I do like a practice a tea ceremony out of my home.
Let's see. Someone else asked, what are the sweets made out of? I think the sweets that you showed in the pictures.
Okay, so the made of by red bean, like a actually like a red beans, is more like dishes here, in the US. But like for us, red beans we put in the sugar, and like a more we ate like a more dessert. So maybe taste, I like this taste, but like some people it's kind of a little feel like a weird.
Okay, and the last couple of questions we had to do with kimonos.
Mm-hmm.
So someone was asking about the various parts of the kimono and is there a purpose to the center part? I think they mean like the belt.
Yeah, bell. Mm-hmm.
And then someone else asked if a kimono has to be worn during a tea ceremony or can it be done in casual clothes?
Yeah, so kimono is actually one cloth. So even they're small, they're big. We can adjust the kimono by belt, so it's really easy.
Okay.
So also so yeah, so kimono is for like everyone, so not like a small people and big people and you know middle people, middle size of people. So if we had a belt, we can adjust any size. And tea ceremony, maybe it's much better when you can wear the kimono because it's kind of more official. But you know the tea ceremony is for everyone, not for like a Japanese, not for like international people, not for like students. So they don't mind. They just show up, that use your clothes, because in Japan it's very popular. People go to the tea school after work, so they wear like suits and they don't wear the kimono, but they can enjoy the tea ceremony as well. The most important things is how they have what kind of attitudes they have for the tea ceremony. They can focus on tea ceremony and appreciate everything they experience. So it's more important for our Japanese tea ceremony.
Okay, that was all the questions that came in. And we will go ahead and post the links that you shared on the Waukesha Reads Facebook page so if people want to go to those links. But the video will be available on the Waukesha Reads YouTube channel if you want to go and look at it again and write anything down. So thank you so much, Asami, for joining us and being part of our Waukesha Reads celebration. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really proud of joining this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.